Okay, great. So we're at 9:03. Welcome, everybody. So glad that you could join us this morning for our Salesforce Philanthropy Cloud demo. I want to quickly introduce myself and also Annie. My name is Laura Miney. I'm a United Way's Director of Innovation and Special Projects, and Annie Hernandez is also with us today. Welcome. Hi, Annie.
Oh, hi. Like Laura mentioned, Annie Hernandez, I'm a manager of corporate engagement at United Way, and just really happy to have so many of you join us today.
And the majority of our time, our hour together here is going to be focused on the Salesforce Philanthropy Cloud demo. But to start off, we are going to share a little bit about some United Way updates on our impact in the community, some of the work that we've been doing recently, and then also talk a little bit about any current or future volunteer activities for yourself, your family, your workplace. We know a lot of folks are interested in volunteering right now. So I'm actually going to turn my camera off just to make sure that my connectivity continues to be good. But if you have any questions while I'm talking, please either feel free to unmute yourself and ask, or to add a question in the chat. Annie and I will be watching the chat to look out for any questions.
Great. And just before we jump into this slide, for anyone who's new to GoToMeeting, there's a couple of great features that can help improve your experience. So if you are using the app or the website, there is the opportunity to change the view at the top, so you can view only the person who's talking, only people who have their cameras on, or you can hide everyone, which would make the visual larger. And on the side, if you're looking at your screen on your right-hand side, there's also the opportunity to zoom in and out so you can see the presentation larger or smaller. So just wanted to point out those couple of things. And again, I'll be monitoring the chat throughout, so feel free to ask questions there. So we first just wanted to open by acknowledging the global pandemic we're in right now and talk a little bit about United Way's response. So we at United Way have been working from home since March, so you get a little glimpse into Laura and my home this morning. But we really had a great response to what was going on in the community. So we know that the need is great. We know that our community both had great need, but also really wanted to give back. And so starting in March, we launched our COVID-19 Urgent Needs Fund, and since then have been able to respond to the community needs of our agency partners, as well as other nonprofits and individuals, with some of the items you see below, as well as financial assistance. So we've mobilized gloves, hand sanitizer, masks. We participated in a Mask Up Milwaukee project, which was getting volunteers to assemble non-medical masks, and we mobilized about 1 million through that. So we've had a great response, both from our corporate partners and individuals in the community wanting to give back during this time. And through that, we've been able to mobilize different resources in the community. So just wanted to share that. This is something that continues as we continue to be impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic.
We also wanted to share a little bit about what United Way has historically done and what we continue to do, and work that we're looking ahead in the future doing around community racial equity. I think, this is also, very top of mind for individuals and organizations. We've seen more urgent calls for racial equity and justice this summer, but we know this is not a new problem. We at United Way are both proud of the work that we have been doing up until this point around increasing community equity, and we also know that, that we need to do more. Some of our established efforts have included Project Lead, which is a board training opportunity for individuals and helps work to make our nonprofit boards more diverse and inclusive. We also have an initiative called Reducing Barriers to Employment and Advancement, and that's a community level goal that's set to narrow the unemployment gap between African American and all other groups in our community. Our Boys and Men of Color initiative is work that we're doing to expand United Way's partnership with community-based organizations, and this includes youth and adult residents, law enforcement, education, health system, faith communities, to address issues facing boys and men of color in our community. So you can learn more about some of those initiatives and other work that we're doing at the links below, both our blog and information on our impact. We are also doing a lot of work both externally and internally at our staff and board level around equity. We're also really proud of an upcoming initiative that we are focusing on that we just introduced in 2020 that really dovetails into a lot of what we are seeing with folks having unequal access to technology, especially now that people are working, living and going to school remotely. This initiative called Tequity is working to increase digital equity and inclusion, and our focus is on school-age children, job seekers, and also those at risk of homelessness. Another topic that we wanted to touch on briefly today before we get into the demo itself is volunteering. We know that individuals and organizations really have become engaged with United Way with volunteering opportunities. And so we just want to share what's new and what's going on with volunteering, and to really emphasize that even though volunteering may look slightly different this year, that we are still very engaged in volunteering and would love to work with any organizations or individuals to find volunteer opportunities that are the right fit for you. We know that especially right now, people are feeling really compelled to give back to the community through volunteering. And we know that volunteering can have really tangible benefits in times of stress and crisis like this. It can help bring communities and workplaces together who are now maybe perhaps working remotely and maybe feeling more isolated. Volunteering is a good way, is a good unifier. There's also studies that show that volunteering can improve, your overall health in times of stress. And it also helps give employees an additional sense of focus and purpose that's perhaps outside of their day-to-day routine. So what our volunteer engagement team has really been focused on, especially in the last 6 months, is focusing on ways to make sure that volunteering continues to be both safe and then also accessible and flexible. Our volunteer engagement folks have worked on creating some initiatives that are tailored to a virtual or remote experience. We still are offering safe on-site at the workplace opportunities as well. We're continuing to work with our 110 agency partners to find safe and accessible ways for people to continue volunteering with our agency partners, and family engagement also continues to be a priority. We would love for folks to check out our volunteer section of our website. There you can really easily access and take a look at urgent needs. So, so volunteering at some of our agency partners and community partners that have been flagged as urgent, often COVID or coronavirus related. We are still, guiding people towards opportunities to make masks. We were involved with the Mask Up Milwaukee initiative earlier this summer, and there are still organizations who are mask making now for the future. And then there's also some great opportunities for youth and family. So kind of finally on that note, we know that organizations are working in new ways this year. Some may be remote, some may be in person. And on our volunteer page on our website, we have some contact information for our volunteer team. If you want to work with our volunteer team to find out a best volunteer activity for your workplace, you can also certainly contact Annie and I, and we can make sure to put you in contact with the right folks to get your organization engaged in the right volunteer activity for this season. All right, I'm going to pass it back to Annie, who's going to do a little bit of background on Salesforce Philanthropy Cloud before I jump into the demo portion.
Thanks, Laura. So again, like Laura said, we do want to spend most of our time today talking about Philanthropy Cloud, which is why you all joined us today. A little bit of background. So Salesforce came to United Way Worldwide, which is our global network, several years ago now, and asked us to partner with them. So Salesforce is an incredibly innovative company. They can bring technology to the market that's unmatched, but they knew that if they were going to do a philanthropy tool, that they needed an on-the-ground partner to really make it impactful, to make it local, and to have it make an impact in the communities that it was serving. So United Way and Salesforce are really partnering to bring Salesforce Philanthropy Cloud to the market, and it's really, we hope, going to be the next generation of giving. United Way is known for bringing workplace giving to organizations across our country and beyond, and so we're really hoping that this partnership is also able to really take that to the next level. So it's more than just a technology platform. We're going to show you the technology today, but it's really meant to be an extension of your team, something that you can use to share stories, to engage your employees. Unlike what a lot of organizations currently do with United Way and with philanthropy, it is a year-round engagement strategy. So it is meant to be something that people engage with year-round, signing up for volunteer activities, giving throughout the year, reading stories, and interacting throughout the year. And then, again, it's curated content. So United Way is always putting up different content, stories, volunteer activities, things like that. But we would work with your team to curate that for your group, as well as create specific content for your group. Your team would also have the ability to create content within the tool as well. So you can see here, Salesforce Philanthropy Cloud is really where the content, the services of United Way, and the phenomenal technology of Salesforce come together. So like I mentioned, content can be stories, it can be fundraising activities and fundraising funds, it can be volunteer opportunities. It's really curated based on what you're looking for, and our staff are there to help distribute the funds, to help oversee the site and help your team get trained up and really work with you on how much you want to own and how much you want United Way to own. And then Salesforce is the arm behind the technology. So they're constantly updating the tool. It is AI generated, which Laura will show you in the demo. And it's tied to every nonprofit 501c3 in the US and Canada. So it's a really great tool, bringing all of that into one year-round platform. I promise I won't read this slide to you, but we are required to show it. So like I mentioned, Salesforce is always improving, adding, continuing to build Philanthropy Cloud, but we're going to show you the tool as it exists today, and just want to make sure that as you continue conversations with United Way, if you're interested in utilizing Philanthropy Cloud, that your decisions are based on what we show you today, not any future facing statements that we make about what the tool could do at some point. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Laura, who's going to jump into the demo.
Thanks, Annie. I'm going to do a demo of Salesforce Philanthropy Cloud from two different perspectives. My test employee, Tim, who is going to log in to learn more about giving and volunteering, and then my test workplace ambassador, Amanda, who has access to configure the site, run reports, and manage users. I'm now logged in as my employee, Tim, and I'm going to take you through what an employee would see and how they interact with the system. And I'm also going to, demonstrate how Philanthropy Cloud is good not only for maybe a typical fall United Way campaign, but also for year-round giving and year-round causes and volunteering. So just know that this is a demo environment, so you may see things that you wouldn't see in the live environment. So in this test or demo environment, the workplace you're going to see is Universal Containers is the workplace name here. When Tim first logs in, he's able to see a snapshot of his personal giving here, as well as company-wide giving and volunteering totals. At the top, we have what we call a hero carousel, and also these different content cards. And these are all totally customizable by the workplace with support from United Way. And this is really a way that you as a company can bubble up information, stories, volunteer activities, giving opportunities that are relevant and timely year-round. So Tim knows that he wants to make a donation to United Way's COVID Urgent Needs Fund, and he's not sure if he wants to volunteer, but he's considering volunteering. What he can do first is take a look at the hero carousel here and really easily access this donation option. So again, this is a timely and urgent need, and it can be promoted right at the top of the site for easy access. Employees can learn about urgent needs like this. There's also the opportunity to embed a video just for greater engagement. Employees can choose how they would like to give. So in this case, the options are payroll, check, stock, cash. These options are customizable by the company. So for example, if a company only wanted to allow or offer payroll deduction at a certain time of the year, that option could be taken away as well. But for Tim, it's really easy to do just a one-click credit card, one or two click credit card donation. He's just going to give $60 now. And then he can just quickly give a gift in this way, and immediately an email is sent to his email account that confirms his gift. So Tim has given it, it's only taken a minute or so, and now he's going to go back to the home page and just see what else is going on. So like I said, companies can feature stories. So he can read a story about some of his colleagues who pitched in to do a mask making activity. That story can be set up to have related content. So, after someone reads a story, they could be prompted to get involved further through volunteering or giving. So in this case, he's going to take a look and see about volunteer mask making, if that's something he's interested in. Tim can take a look, and if you as a company have social sharing turned on, Tim would be able to see any other coworkers who are also volunteering for this activity. And then also just read details about what the activity entails, and then also sign up for shifts. So Tim is reading this and he says sees it's an 8 to 10 hour commitment, and gets some more details about picking up kits. He's not sure if this is the right fit, so he wants to do a little bit more searching. He's going to see if there's any other COVID-related activities, volunteer activities that he would want to volunteer for. Through this search here, employees can search for volunteer activities based on date, based on location. So if I put in my address here, I would be able to do a search on that and find activities that are in my area. And you can see here, it's going to tell you how far away this activity is, if it is an in-person activity. He's more interested in doing a virtual activity. So he sees these options of writing notes for health care heroes or making client wellness check-in phone calls. And that one sounds great to him. He loves talking to the phone and working with older adults. So he's going to review this activity and any shifts available and sign up for a shift. If Tim wants to take a look at his volunteer activities or his giving history, he can do that in his profile. And there's a couple nice features in this profile that I want to review with you. So first, as I said, you can take a look at his giving history. So I can see this gift made just now. And if he, lost or misplaced the receipt that was emailed to him, he can get that receipt and download that receipt again. He can also do an easy one-click donate again. So say it's a month from now and he has it in his, his budget to give another contribution to COVID. He can do an easy one-click donate again. The volunteering tab will show details about upcoming opportunities and then also his history of volunteering. In addition to signing up for volunteer activities and seeing those volunteer activities in his history, if Tim does volunteering on his own, that's not through his workplace or not promoted by his workplace, but just something he does, he can also log that time to keep track of all his volunteer activities. So, for example, Tim is a mentor with artists working in education. And he does arts mentoring every month. So he's going to log the time that he spent in August. And that becomes the full picture of his volunteering. Additionally, Tim can specify his volunteer skills and then also his causes. And what's nice about that is as Tim further engages with the platform and volunteers and gives and selects volunteer activities and causes, on the home page, there's a section called Recommendations for You that is AI generated and is based on growing information about Tim and his giving and his preferences. So I'm going to add volunteer skills and causes, and then we'll go back to home. So he already has gardening as an activity, and he wants to add a couple more. He's adding mentoring in the arts. And then he's going to add causes of arts and culture and housing and homelessness. So then, as I mentioned, as Tim continues to give, volunteer, and select his preferences, when he's at the home page, this recommended for you section will become more focused on his interests and how he wants to engage. The final thing that I want to show you as an employee engaging with this platform is that Philanthropy Cloud is good not only for year-round engagement and urgent needs, but also the typical fall fundraising campaign that many of you may be used to working with United Way on. So let's say it's maybe a month and a half later, and Tim's company, Universal Containers, is running their annual Fall United Way campaign. There's an option to set up a United Way campaign as a content type. And with that, companies can set their different goals. So both a dollar goal and a volunteering goal. If there's specific information about the campaign that the company wants to add, that can be added. We can also add videos as another engagement option. Again, Tim can donate in different ways, and these types of giving are set up by the company. So for the fall campaign, Tim's going to give a payroll gift. And he's going to give $25 a pay period. And the system will calculate what that annual contribution sums up to be. Tim can give directly to United Way or to one of our impact funds. So Tim would like to give some funds to Tequity, some funds directly to United Way, and then he would also like to give some funds to the agency that he works with volunteering. So he's going to search on artists working in education. And if he wasn't able to find his preferred nonprofit, he would also be able to do a write-in as an option here. So he's going to add $5 a pay period for that. And then the system will guide you through to make sure that the total amount that you selected on the previous screen matches up with all of your allocations. Again, Tim will get a notification right to his email confirming this gift, and it'll now be part of his profile and part of his history. One final thing that I wanted to mention is Philanthropy Cloud is mobile responsive, meaning that it looks good on a phone, a tablet, a desktop. We also specifically have a Philanthropy Cloud app for the iPhone, and an app for Android is on the product roadmap. I'm going to pause there. My next step is going and logging in as Amanda, the ambassador, so you can see what the back end looks like. But I'm going to pause to see if anyone has any questions. You can either unmute yourself or add them to chat. Okay. So this is the same site that Tim logged into, but Amanda has additional permissions. So you can see the difference between the two is that there's this admin option up here, and that's kind of nice that there's not, an admin site and a giving site. It's all one, but just different permissions. And this is just an easy to use administrative interface where ambassadors, they can control the content, payroll giving options, they can run reports, manage users, they can do batch entry if they receive any offline pledges. And the admin configuration and the content setup is something that United Way can manage for you, that individuals at your workplace can fully manage. We can train and support your staff on all the administrative tasks. A couple of key things on the administrative side that I wanted to show you. So I'm first going to the homepage tab here, which is where administrators can set up the content and the look and the feel for the homepage. And again, this is what helps make this tool really great for year-round engagement. It's super easy to both create content and swap it out so that you can keep employees up to date on stories, on volunteering opportunities, on giving opportunities. So this is where you could update the both the hero carousel and these featured content cards. So for example, if your company was specifically doing volunteering or engagement with a local nonprofit, you can just search and swap a nonprofit out. And the way that works is the Philanthropy Cloud is hooked up to GuideStar's database. And GuideStar is a database of nonprofits in the U.S., which contains over 1 million nonprofits for both you as an ambassador to search on and feature, and it's the same database for employees to search on and select a nonprofit for giving. So if you were featuring not a nonprofit, but a story, a volunteering opportunity, a campaign, then what you can do is go to this content creation section here. And United Way creates content, but you as a company can also create your own featured content. It's pretty straightforward. A lot of components, just offer drag and drop as far as images. This is if you're creating a volunteer opportunity, pretty simple just to add text. You can link to a video. You can associate this volunteer opportunity with specific causes. And again, that helps the AI serve those volunteer opportunities up to employees who had specified those causes as important to them. Those would feature then more prominently on the recommended for you section. And then there's options to, really specify what kind of volunteer activity it is, in person or virtual, whether it's one-time shifts or flexible. And then also to specify who the beneficiary is, whether it's United Way or another nonprofit partner. And then you just save and publish, and that content is ready to go. And it's a similarly easy process to create stories and giving opportunities as well. All right. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about settings. As I mentioned, companies have the option to turn on or off different payment methods depending on your needs. And then also to choose whether to allow payroll to be recurring one time, to allow a bonus payroll, to have a specific enrollment period for payroll, so that people could sign up for payroll giving year round, or just in a specific period that you're running giving campaign. User management can also be customized. So this is where a company or with United Way support that users of the system can be managed, either imported or deactivated if folks leave the organization. This is also where different permissions are set up. My Amanda user here is an organization administrator, which means that she has access to all the components in the administrative side here. But if you have the need for administrators only to have access to creating content, but not managing users or doing, updating settings, there's also the option. We have two different levels of permissions for administrators. One that has more access to all settings, and then one that only has access to creating content. Organizations can also customize their site to their particular brand with their logo and their color scheme and additional contact information as well. Finally, I want to show you the reports tab that we have here. Just bear in mind that these reports are in our demo system where we only have a couple of users set up, so they are not very robust in terms of data. But the reports that we have will show you your giving participation for your organization, what kind of causes your employees are giving to, and then also has the ability to break out giving by region or company department. There's a report that you can export to find out about any payroll giving, so you can set that up with your payroll department. And then we similarly have reporting on volunteering, so that you can track volunteer participation, the types of volunteer activities that people are signing up for, and how people are volunteering at different segments of your organization. So this is just a brief overview of Philanthropy Cloud, both from a donor perspective and then also as an ambassador perspective, who has access to set up some of the administrative content and the settings. I'm going to pause right there to see what questions folks have about the site, either from the ambassador side, the donor employee side, or any other questions that you might have. Well, Annie and I are both happy to field any questions that you might have now or in the future. So folks that registered and attended, some United States staff will reach out to you to see if you're interested in a more personalized demo for your organization based on your organization's needs. We're also recording this. And so we'll send the recording and we'll send slides to you if there are folks at your organizations who wanted to attend and couldn't make it. We also have our contact information, so do please feel free to reach out with any questions or any problems, or I'm sorry, any just questions or additional details that we can provide you with. Thank you, Annie, for putting the emails in the chat as well.
Hey, thank you guys. Great job. This is Carl. I'm definitely interested in follow up. So I look forward.
Wonderful. Okay, we look forward to talking to you.
Yep, great job. Thank you. As you can see, I'm not home or in the office, so I need to jump unless you had more presentation.
Nope, that wraps us up. Just a short demo for today, but we will be in touch.
Good job.
All right. Well, thank you very much. And so Andy and I will stay
Okay,
for a few
thank
minutes.
you.
For a few minutes afterwards, if anyone has any questions for us. But again, thank you so much for spending some time with us this morning.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for coming. Laura, right as they were logging out, I saw a name that I hadn't written down. So there was someone that wasn't registered. What?
Stop the recording.
Yes.